Real Talk, Queering Racial Justice plus Faith.
A conversation between Kai Greer and Reverend Dr. Althea Spencer-Miller. Come, Spirit, come. Conspire with us, convict us, consecrate us with compassion, and lead us in truth as we endeavor to enflesh a new way together.
Coming out as a gay person, the rhetoric around it is so much about being true to our full selves, to who we are. And then you encounter this experience where to enter into justice advocacy work, you go right back into fragmentation. And even in terms of the LGBTQIA plus movement within our United Methodist Church. And we have a strong leadership that is strongly ethnic minority, but yet still there's a larger orb that at times feels very white to me, and I get anxious and anxious about whether I am fighting solely for LGBTQI plus inclusion, or to what extent does that overlap with white masculine dominations.
Growing up in Black Methodist America, the solidarity, the community, the faith resources came from worship, came from this shared sense of lament, came from this shared sense of we are in this. And so that was my sort of Black roots. That's my Blackness, if you will. And at the same time, I could not express my full self in that community, right? And so, yes, that's my family. Yes, those folks love me and still love me. And at the same time, you know, coming out as queer, coming out as engaged to a person assigned female at birth, that creates me as in sections. So now I am Kai Black, Kai queer, and Kai, oh, you want to be a theologian and a pastor. That's not going to work for us. And so the same community who raised me is now struggling with how to fully affirm me. And that's something that's beyond and outside of me. And yet and still, I find solidarity and still struggle with the denial of my full self.
And that's a shared, the denial of full self is a shared experience. And yet as a Black immigrant into the United States, there are places where being Black coming from the Caribbean is a different experience to yet having commonalities with being Black in the United States. One of the things I share with you is a sense of being a queer person, not feeling safe and welcome among my own people who are Black folk in charge of their Black country, but as a queer person, not feeling safe to be amongst them. So every coming out is fraught. So many decisions become fraught. Then coming to the United States, leaving Jamaica with a sense that solidarity is a way for marginalized people to go, because that's strong for us. Coming here to find a way to exercise solidarity with African Americans, with other persons, other groups of people who are marginalized in various ways, but finding that it's a different narrative, it's a different set of goals, it's a different set of strategies, and a process of adaptation into movements that do not readily include the immigrant experience as a social justice issue.
I very much, as difficult and traumatic sometimes as it is, I very much need this community because it still is my foundation.
Yeah.
It's where I discovered my Blackness. It's where I discovered my sexuality and my gender identity. It's where I discovered where home was to me.
One of the models for me is actually the very much vilified Paul when it comes on to gender issues, because I appreciate the ways in which his letters represent communities that are actually struggling with all kinds of ordinary issues, but struggling to figure out how to meld, how to come together. What are the issues that fracture? What are the issues we have to resolve, in order for us to get together? So he's been a model, that his letters have been a model for me, that coming together is a fraught thing, and therefore you don't give it up because it's troubled. You struggle within it, and on many fronts, with many facets, with many kinds of decisions made. But I expect it to be a difficult road, and sometimes I hate it. And let me be very clear, journeying together does not mean institutional fidelity.